All right, what up there, boxing fans? CMD Boxing Reports. Ronell Higg here speaking. All right, so over the work week, a few buddies of mine and some co-workers, we were sitting down talking about boxing. We was talking about Deontay Wilder and his situation, and during that conversation, we went to talk about hype jobs, and some believe that Deontay Wilder is a hype job. Now, I understand that his boxing style and all, it doesn't fit the appetite of most boxing fans. However, I don't look at him as a hype job. Now, you want to talk about hype jobs? Let's talk about Michael Grant. Okay, let's compare Michael Grant to Deontay Wilder, all right? Now, Michael Grant's, his amateur career, all right, Michael Grant had just 12 amateur fights and the Golden Gloves, 1994 semifinals, all right? He lost his only amateur fight to Derek Jefferson on points, okay? So he didn't have much of a boxing career like, Deontay Wilder. I mean, Deontay Wilder had 21 amateur fights. He won the Golden Gloves in a shocker, okay? And he also went to the Olympics and won a bronze medal, something that Michael Grant did not do. And Michael Grant, he came from football to boxing. However, Michael Grant and Deontay Wilder both started boxing at a late age. Now, in Michael Grant's pro career, all right, in his early career, Grant beat Corey Sanders, Ross Purity, ex-contender Lionel Butler, Al Cole, Cuban George Luis Gonzalez, hard punching David Izon. He beat Obed Sullivan. He knocked down and outpointed Lou Savarese before most notably fighting Andrew Galata. During that fight, Grant was knocked down twice, right? In the first round, only to come from behind to score a knockout in the 10th round. And by this point, the Ring magazine ranked Michael Grant the number 3 heavyweight in the world, all right? So I understand that Michael Grant does have some names on his record. All right, he has some pretty good names in his early career, something that Deontay Wilder doesn't have, not yet. However, Deontay Wilder did win a world title, all right, the WBC. Michael Grant, he won a title, the I Be Careful title, the IBC. All right, he won that. Not very popular, but I guess at least he did have a title. And by the way, HBO was hyping up Michael Grant as well. All right, we're giving him, the fighters he had. And Corey Sanders, at that time, although he lost to Michael Grant, he did come back and defeated Vladimir Klitschko by knockout. And I believe that fight was over in Germany as well. Now, I guess that right there said a lot about Michael Grant too. But after his fight with Andrew Galata, he took on Lennox Lewis. All right, Lennox Lewis, he was just now coming off a victory win over Evander Holyfield. So, to defend his title, his first title defense was against Michael Grant. And, people was hyping that up. Yeah, have 2 tall guys in the ring. Have Lennox Lewis, look up to someone, instead of always looking down, because Michael Grant, he stands 6'7", while Lennox Lewis stands 6'5". So it's not much of a huge difference. But, he went in there and he destroyed Michael Grant. Okay, Michael Grant, his inexperience really did show. All right, and he ended up knocking him out in the second round. And then after that, Michael Grant took on who? I forget the guy's name. Man, I forget his name. Michael Grant took on Jamil McCline. All right, he went out there. He had a new trainer and all. Jamil McCline's his name. He had a new trainer, and that was Teddy Atlas. Okay, Teddy Atlas was talking so much stuff. Oh, Michael Grant, he's fit now. He's ready. He's been trained properly now. He's going to go out there and erase that Lennox Lewis loss. You'll see the new Michael Grant in this fight. Go out there first round. Jamil McCline catches him with a hook. Bam. Michael Grant's down the first round, yo. He made Michael Grant look like Mike Tyson and whatnot. Fight was over. He gets knocked down in the first round. He says he can't continue because he had broke his ankle. Bunch of BS. Then he came back after that and fought a fighter named Dominic Gwynn. All right, and Dominic Gwynn, he was a pretty good fighter. I mean, that was my first time hearing about Dominic Gwynn when he took on Michael Grant. And Dominic Gwynn, I think he stood 6'3". He was 6'3". He went in there and he basically destroyed Michael Grant. And as Michael Grant's falling to the canvas, you can hear Larry Merchant, give Michael Grant his farewell. He was a 6'7", towering, dominating boxer, all right, before his loss to Lennox Lewis. Yeah, Michael Grant lost 3 fights in a row. Once against Lennox Lewis, Jamil McCline, and then Dominic Gwynn. Damn, he got knocked out in all 3. his final knockout was against Dominic Wynn. People was like, damn, he got knocked out again. Yes. So it's saying that Michael Grant was really a hype job. All right. I mean, he really had no place in boxing. The only thing that, people were watching for was because his height, that huge mass body of his, he had and all. And he was a hopeful, he was someone that people were, was hoping that he'll bring, boxing back, heavyweight boxing back in America and whatnot. Because, you had Lennox Lewis and you had the Klitschko brothers who was, still dominant back in that time. All right. But Michael Grant failed to do so. Now, we went on with Deontay Wilder. And I believe Deontay Wilder is a way better fighter than Michael Grant. I mean, I understand that, Deontay Wilder swings wild and, he's always off balance when throwing hooks and whatnot. And a lot of people are saying that, well, he'll learn, along with time, he's still learning on the job. I think that his learning process has stopped. I mean, Deontay Wilder has learned much as he can in boxing. And that's it. All right, this is what you're going to get with Deontay Wilder. All right, there's no new improvements or anything. However, he does fight wild and swing wild, but hey, he's still undefeated. He has a very high knockout ratio, and he's a world champion. All right, so with all that saying, do I believe that Deontay Wilder is a hype job? Hells no. However, he does need some names on his record, and I mean fighting guys when they're in their primes, not when they're has-beens, like on Michael Grant's record. All right, for the exception of Lennox Lewis, Jamil McCline, Dominic Wynn. Now, I also want to talk about Eddie Hearn, all right? Yeah, Eddie Hearn, used the big N-word towards Deontay Wilder. Now listen, Eddie Hearn asked for Deontay Wilder to fight Dillian Whyte over in England for $3 million. Okay, now, just like Michael Grant, see, one thing about Deontay Wilder, he understands the business in the sport of boxing, where another thing that Michael Grant did not understand. See, Michael Grant was a yes man, all right? He'll take and do anything or in everything these promoters told him to do, when Deontay Wilder will not. All right, so having him to go over there with his undefeated record, his world championship, to go over to Dillian Whyte's backyard to fight for $3 million. I mean, it was absurd. It's just stupid. All right. Now Michael Grant would have done that, but Deontay Wilder, he knows better. All right. Now let's say he would have taken that fight. He went over there to England to fight Dillian Whyte, and he ends up beating him by points or knockout, whatever the case. Then he flies back over here to the States with this undefeated record and his world championship belt intact. He takes on his mandatory, wins that fight, and then he has another fight, big fight, let's say with Luis Ortiz. That's the fight we all want to see. Now, if he was able to take $3 million to go over to England and fight Dillian Whyte, all right, he'll probably get paid the same amount of money to take on Luis Ortiz. And what they'll say to him, well, you went to England to fight for $3 million without no argument. Why won't you take this fight with Luis Ortiz for $3 million, okay? Or less. They'll probably offer him 2.5 or 2.8 million, whatever the case, all right? So that was the reason why he did not take this fight. No, he's not going to sell his career short like that, all right? Meaning is that if he get any other big fight offer, he may not get the money he deserves. Now, I do agree with Deontay Wilder. Yeah, he should have been offered more money to go overseas. I mean, he's not afraid to go over and fight in someone else's homeland. All right, he was going to fight Alex Povetkin over there in Russia. All right, and I believe that was for how much, $5 million or so. But to lowball my man and try to say that, yeah, $3 million and whatnot, to come and fight in someone else's homeland means, that, like I said, it's just straight dumb. And I applaud Deontay Wilder for not taking that. All right. So, yeah, with that being said, sorry about that, gang. That right there is what I wanted to get off my chest. No, Deontay Wilder is not a hype job. And the big N word that Eddie Hearn used towards Deontay Wilder was no. If you won't take this money, hey, forget it. The fight's off. This, that, and the third. Deontay Wilder's cool with it. But a lot of people say that, he's pricing himself out. He's not pricing himself out. It makes sense for him to go ahead on and take that fight for the right money. Because if he took that fight, well, then he'll get lowballed in every other big fight he gets. So that's my take on this. This is CMD Boxing Reports. Ronell Higg here reporting. I'll see you guys on the next one.